Some children can't wait for their first loose tooth to fall out. They wiggle it, show it off, and dream about what the tooth fairy might bring. But for Lyndy, this tiny loose tooth feels like a ticking clock, and she is doing everything she can to stop time. The morning at Heartland begins like any other, quiet and slow, with soft light coming through the kitchen windows. Amy watches Lyndy push her breakfast around the plate instead of eating. She barely smiles, barely speaks. When Amy asks if something hurts, Lyndy shakes her head quickly and keeps her lips pressed together as if hiding something important. Jack notices it too. He gently jokes about how Lyndy has been acting strange lately, asking if maybe she's hiding a secret. That's when Lyndy's hand shoots up to her mouth. Her eyes widen with panic, not pain, not fear. Something else. Something deeper. Amy kneels beside her and softly asks her to open her mouth. Lyndy refuses, shaking her head again, this time with tears starting to form. Later, when Lyndy is alone in her room, she stands in front of the mirror. She gently touches the loose tooth with her finger, wincing not because it hurts, but because it moves. She whispers to herself, begging it not to fall out yet. She wraps a small piece of tissue around it, as if that could hold it in place. Her hands tremble. This is not how a child reacts to a loose tooth. Amy watches from the hallway unseen. Her heart tightens. She remembers this moment from her own childhood, how exciting it once felt. But this feels different. This feels heavy. That night, Amy hears Lyndy crying softly in her sleep, murmuring words that stop Amy cold. She hears Ty's name. In that moment, Amy realizes the truth. This loose tooth is not just a tooth. To Lyndy, it is a promise, a memory, a moment she believes she is not allowed to lose yet. And Amy knows this is only the beginning of a pain Lyndy has been carrying all alone. Lyndy believes that if she keeps one small thing from changing, the rest of her world won't change either. Throughout the day, Lyndy becomes careful in a way no child should have to be. She eats only soft food, cutting everything into tiny pieces. She refuses apples, carrots, even her favorite cookies. When Katie laughs and asks if she's scared of the tooth fairy, Lyndy snaps back too fast, her voice shaking as she says she doesn't want any fairy money. The room goes quiet. Everyone stares, confused by the fear behind her words. When no one is watching, Lyndy checks her tooth again and again. She presses it gently, then pulls her finger away like she's been burned. Each tiny movement makes her chest tighten. She starts counting the days in her head, trying to remember how long loose teeth usually last. She tells herself that if she's careful enough, if she's quiet enough, maybe it will stay just a little longer. That night, Lyndy sits on her bed with a small box in her hands. Inside are tiny things she has kept safe: drawings, a smooth stone, and an old photo of Ty smiling at her. She touches the picture and whispers, "Not yet." She believes that once the tooth falls out, something else will be gone too, something she can't get back. Downstairs, Lou and Amy speak in low voices. Lou thinks Lyndy is just scared of growing up. Amy isn't convinced. She remembers the look in Lyndy's eyes, not fear, but loss. The kind of loss that comes from waiting for someone who promised they'd be there. Later, Amy finds a small note hidden under Lyndy's pillow. It's written in uneven letters and says, "Please don't let it fall out yet." Amy's hands shake as she reads it. This isn't about growing up. This is about holding on. As Amy turns off the light, she realizes Lyndy isn't trying to stop a tooth from falling out. She's trying to stop another goodbye from happening. Some memories don't fade with time. They wait quietly, then rise when you least expect them. Amy stands alone in the barn. The familiar sounds around her doing nothing to calm her thoughts. Lyndy's face keeps replaying in her mind the fear. The way she covered her mouth, the way she whispered, "Not yet." Suddenly a memory hits Amy with painful clarity. Ty's voice, his gentle smile. It's the way he once knelt in front of Lyndy and talked about all the firsts he didn't want to miss. Amy remembers Ty laughing as he told Lyndy that losing her first tooth was a big deal. He had promised her he'd be right there when it happened. He had said they would take a picture together. He had said it was something they would always remember. At the time, it seemed like such a small moment. Now it feels enormous. Back in the house, Amy watches Lyndy playing quietly on the floor. She notices how Lyndy avoids smiling wide, how her hand keeps drifting to her mouth. Amy finally understands. This loose tooth isn't scary to Lyndy. It's sacred. It's the last piece of a promise Ty made that never got the chance to come true. Amy feels the weight of guilt settle in her chest. She wonders if she failed to prepare Lyndy for a world where not every promise can be kept. She wonders if she's been so busy being strong that she missed how deeply Lyndy is hurting. Tears fill her eyes, but she wipes them away before Lyndy can see. That night, Amy pulls out an old box from the closet. It's inside are photos, letters, and small memories of Ty. One picture shows him smiling at the camera, full of life. Amy holds it close, whispering that she wishes he were here, that she doesn't know how to explain this pain to their daughter. As Amy places the box back, one truth becomes clear. Lyndy isn't refusing to let go of a tooth. She's refusing to let go of hope. And now Amy knows she can't ignore it any longer. Sometimes, the hardest words come out only when a heart can't hold them anymore. Amy waits until the house is quiet. She sits beside Lyndy on the bed, brushing her hair slowly, giving her time. No questions at first. No pressure, just silence and warmth. Lyndy stares at her hands, twisting her fingers together, her shoulders stiff like she's ready to run. Amy gently asks why she's been so careful lately. Lyndy shrugs, but her eyes fill with tears. Amy doesn't push. She simply says she knows something is hurting her. That's when Lyndy's lips start to shake. She presses her palm against her mouth and finally whispers that her tooth is loose. Amy nods calmly, telling her that's normal. But Lyndy shakes her head fast and cries harder. She says this one isn't normal. She says this tooth matters. With a broken voice, Lyndy finally looks up and tells her the truth. She says Ty told her he wanted to see her first loose tooth. He said he would smile and take her picture. He said he would tell her how brave she was. Lyndy says if the tooth falls out now, Ty will miss it forever. And if he misses it, then the promise is gone too. Amy feels her heart crack open. She pulls Lyndy into her arms as Lyndy sobs against her chest. Lyndy keeps saying she's sorry, like this is somehow her fault. She says she's been trying to keep it in, just a little longer, in case Ty comes back in time. Amy closes her eyes, holding her tighter. She realizes Lyndy truly believes that. Letting the tooth fall means accepting that Ty won't be there, and that truth feels too big for a child to carry alone. As Lyndy finally falls asleep, worn out from crying, Amy stays awake beside her. She knows now. This isn't about fear. This is about love, loss, and a promise that still lives in Lyndy's heart. Some moments break your heart in ways you never imagined. Leaving pieces scattered across memories and silence, Amy sits in the dim light of the living room, watching Lyndy sleep peacefully in her bed. Her small chest rises and falls, her fingers curled around a soft blanket, but Amy knows the weight Lyndy has been carrying all day. It isn't just a tooth. It's the hope that Ty's promise hasn't been lost. And now that hope rests entirely on a child's fragile shoulders. Amy's mind races. She remembers the laughter, the warmth, the small everyday moments that Lyndy and Ty once shared. She remembers the way Ty had promised to be there for every milestone, every first smile, every loose tooth. And now, he's gone. Amy feels a wave of helplessness wash over her. She wants to tell Lyndy that Ty's love hasn't left her, but she worries that words won't be enough. How can she explain to a child that some promises aren't broken, even when the person who made them isn't here? Amy's chest tightens as she recalls the small note Lyndy had hidden under her pillow. Please don't let it fall out yet. Each word echoes in Amy's mind, a tiny plea that holds the weight of a lifetime of longing. She wants to protect her daughter, to make the world stop so Lyndy can feel safe. But she knows that she can't. Childhood is supposed to move forward, even when it hurts, even when promises are broken. She walks slowly to the window, staring out at the quiet farm. The horses graze calmly. The wind moves softly through the trees, and yet inside Amy, a storm rages. She wonders if she has done enough, if she has been enough for Lyndy. Her heart aches, knowing that this tiny tooth, something so ordinary for other children, has become the anchor for a grief too big for a child to carry alone. Amy swallows the lump in her throat. She takes a deep breath, reminding herself that she needs to be strong, not just for Lyndy, but for the family. And yet the ache remains. She realizes this heartbreak is different. It's quiet, patient, lingering, the kind that stays even after tears have dried. But in that quiet, she also finds resolve. She knows that helping Lyndy through this isn't about forcing a smile or a quick fix, it's about love, patience, and understanding that some lessons in life are learned with a broken heart. Amy whispers softly to herself, "We'll find a way, little one, I promise." And for the first time since she discovered the truth, a small thread of hope weaves through the sorrow. Sometimes the smallest gestures carry the biggest meaning. The next morning, Amy gathers the family quietly in the living room. Jack, Katie, and Lou sit nearby, sensing the weight of the unspoken tension. Amy doesn't start with lectures or explanations. She simply shares what she's learned about Lyndy's tooth and the promise she believes it holds. The room falls silent. Everyone senses the fragility of the moment. The tender balance between hope and heartbreak. Jack leans forward, gently suggesting they find a way to honor Ty without forcing Lyndy to let go. "We don't need the tooth to prove love," he says softly. "Maybe we just need to show her he's still here." In little ways, Lou nods, smiling faintly, thinking of the farm, the animals, everyday magic that can remind a child that love never truly leaves. Amy watches Lyndy playing quietly with her dolls, her fingers occasionally brushing the loose tooth. She decides to let Lyndy lead the moment. Instead of telling her to let it fall, Amy prepares a small ceremony, a promise moment, where the family shares memories of Ty. They sit together, each holding a small item that reminds them of him. A photograph, a toy, even a feather from the barn. Lyndy listens, wide-eyed, absorbing every word, every memory, without needing to speak. As the family shares stories, Lyndy slowly begins to smile. Not a forced smile, but one that reaches her eyes. A smile that allows her to feel Ty's presence without fear. She touches her tooth, then looks up at Amy. Amy nods gently, letting her know that she can decide when the time is right. No pressure, no rush. Just love, patience, and understanding. The room fills with quiet laughter, whispered stories, and tender glances. Lyndy starts to see that letting go of the tooth doesn't mean letting go of Ty. It's a lesson in love, in remembrance, and in holding the heart gently while life moves forward. By the time the family finishes, Lyndy sits closer to Amy, her hand resting on the photograph of Ty. She whispers softly, almost to herself, "He's still here." Amy squeezes her hand, tears welling in her eyes, knowing that sometimes the most powerful healing comes not from rushing forward, but from standing together in love and memory. And in that quiet, sacred moment, the family feels closer than ever. They have turned pain into connection, fear into understanding, and heartbreak into hope, all through the love they share for a little girl holding on to the memory of someone she loved so deeply. Some moments arrive when the heart is ready, even if the mind is still afraid. That night, after the family has gone to bed, Lyndy lies in her room staring at her reflection in the window. Her hand drifts to her loose tooth. For the first time, she doesn't press it tightly, doesn't wrap it in tissue. Instead, she looks at it and whispers, "I'm ready. But I'm not letting go of you." Amy, sitting quietly in the doorway, watches Lyndy with a mixture of awe and sadness. She doesn't rush in. She doesn't speak. She lets Lyndy take this small, sacred step on her own. Slowly, the tooth loosens further, wobbling gently with each tiny movement of Lyndy's tongue. Lyndy bites her lip, then finally smiles. Just a little, but it is enough. A tiny tooth falls into her hand, and for a moment, the world feels still. Lyndy holds the tooth close, placing it in a small, decorated box that she keeps on her bedside table. She closes her eyes and imagines Ty's face, smiling proudly at her courage. In that quiet imagination, she realizes something profound. Letting go of the tooth does not mean letting go of love. Ty's memory, his promise, his laughter, all of it remains with her. Always. Amy steps closer and kneels beside her. "You did it, Lyndy," she whispers. "You held on to him in your heart, and that's what matters most." Lyndy nods, tears slipping down her cheeks, but now they are tears of relief and understanding, not fear. She finally feels a little lighter, a little braver, and a little closer to Ty in a way that no promise or loss can take away. The next morning, the family gathers quietly. Lyndy shows them her little box. Jack smiles, Lou pats her shoulder, and Amy hugs her tightly. They all understand this was more than a tooth. It was a lesson in love, loss, and courage. As Lyndy runs outside to play with the horses, Amy watches her go, feeling a bittersweet ache in her chest. She knows there will be more firsts, more milestones, and more moments that bring heartbreak and joy together. But tonight, they have learned something vital. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. Love, once sown, never fades. The screen fades to a soft glow of the farm under the evening sky. Peaceful, calm, and full of quiet hope, leaving the audience with the lingering warmth of family, memory, and the courage to hold on while moving forward.